Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Subs Bench. Once again, we're
Camp here.
here in Paradise at Peninsula Power.
You say Paradise or
Paradise?
is that what I just heard? Or did
Yeah.
I just make that up in my head?
We've obviously hung around here for about a week in between episodes.
Yes.
Try to come in the same clothes to make it.
Yeah, we did. We did have a change of
Seamless.
kit, but we'll stay as we are. We've been joined by Luis Melgar on the bench for
Yeah.
the first time.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Welcome.
All right, so let's delve into the lower reaches. Last episode we spoke a little bit about MPL and QPL, but obviously Brisbane Premier League and the couple leagues underneath that have been going for the same amount of time.
Yep.
BPL, Albany Creek lost one game, but they've won every other one.
That was a bit of a... That was
Yeah,
a weird one
send-off
too.
though.
Two send-offs.
Yeah.
Got belted by Bayside, wasn't it?
Bayside. But then Bayside got belted, I want to say last night, but it was a week ago, week and a half ago, off Grange.
Yeah, they did.
So, but there's plenty of teams can challenge in that league, I think.
Albany Creek are away to St George.
St. George.
today, I think.
Yeah, St. George has been looking quite strong. They've got
Toowong
they've
are
got a big
obviously
roster.
always
Yeah.
competitive at that level.
Yeah.
They beat Centenary last night a week ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Grange as well. They've been really consistent.
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, Grange have come good.
yeah. Matty Hornby got a double.
Yeah, the fridge.
The fridge, big bustling Matt Hornby,
Yeah.
power legend.
Legend
I
in
think
these
that might
parts.
be his frame up there on the right, actually.
You'd be pissed if I didn't mention him either if we're talking Grange, but our old keeper's there as well. Luis.
Luis.
We actually played against him in
Yeah, I saw that. I
the
saw some
COVID
highlights.
pre-season,
Yeah.
and he was excellent.
Yeah, he's a good keeper.
Yeah,
Good keeper.
he
He was out
was
at
excellent.
Mitchelton for a few years and couldn't get a game because of the
Yeah.
whole visa issue.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's still the situation for him if he wanted to play up.
Yeah.
So down at BPL's where he's at. We were
Yeah,
lucky to have
he's-
him for last year.
He's a good keeper. He's not very big, but
Yeah, it's
good.
the technicalities, right? He's
Yeah,
South American?
technically South
It is
American.
South American. Last year when we had him, he was bodybuilding.
Yeah,
So he was not as mobile as he is this year because he was
Yeah.
getting ready for a competition.
Yeah.
But now that he's dropped that little bit of weight, he's, gone to the next
yeah,
level.
no,
He's
he's very good. Cup 1, I think we'd all agree, or I hope we would, now that I've said that, about as competitive as any league in the state. There's
Yeah.
about 7 teams who fancy their chance to get that one spot.
Is that the Lakes?
It is the Lakes,
Lakes.
Stanford.
Athletics, Sanford.
Oh, yeah.
Annerley,
And
Karina.
there's only one.
There's only one spot.
Just the one, yeah.
That's going to be a shit fight till
Oh,
the
yeah.
end.
You've got to say Sanford were on paper, and people talking about
Sanford
it
have
before
got
as a-
Terry Kirkham.
Yeah.
That in itself gives you a bit of an edge.
I
at
think
that level.
Lakes have got a few ex-Power boys, don't
They
they?
do.
Josh Ahern's coaching there.
He is.
He
Player
was
coaching?
after COVID. I don't think he's took.
I think he might be back.
Oh, he's back. All
Could be a
right.
hot scoop here, but
Well,
Find out, would you?
he's back.
all right. So they're back
Maybe.
involved. Yeah, another involved.
Possibly.
But yeah, that league in particular.
Yeah.
Every week there's a top of the table clash because it's that tight.
It's moving around so much.
Yeah.
Very
Whereas
competitive.
Sanford, if I was a betting man, Sanford would be the team I'd say. If you finish above them, you'll win it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Top
You've got-
2, easy.
I mean,
Good
Yeah.
side.
Terry Kirkham's experience at a lot higher level. He knows how to get results.
Yeah.
Knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And gives great advice on valuation.
Sponsoring the show, actually.
Yeah.
Funny you brought that up.
Yeah.
Sponsor and a big fan.
Yeah.
More importantly.
Cap 2,
Yep.
you obviously know a little bit about.
Yeah. I think probably the same sort of thing. It's super competitive this year. Obviously with the COVID situation too, there's a lot of players who have been prepared to drop and
Yeah.
play at lower levels because there's no threat of relegations to their other teams.
Yeah.
And then you've got just experienced coaches. You've had Leo on here before. Has done this thing at a much higher level too. If you can create an atmosphere and you create a team that's looking to win something, people want to be a part of that. So he's been able to build a really strong roster.
when you say does this thing, that is his thing. Creates the culture.
Yeah.
Gets everyone to buy in. That's like Leo Sirianni does that as well as anyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you mix that with good players for that level, you got a real fighting chance.
Yeah.
They'll be difficult to stop, I think. at that
Yeah.
level.
We were talking about them before as well. We've Ripley Valley as well. It's another good club. I think they're only their second year in existence, so they got promotion in their first year.
Yeah.
But again, experienced heads over there with Paddo, Brody, sort of pulling the
Yeah.
strings, and a group of experienced players in high divisions as well. But they're doing good stuff.
Yeah. And Cap 3? Do we know
Cap
much
3,
about
yeah.
Cap 3?
You got the coach who was at Caboolture. He helped Caboolture bring Cap 4 all the way
Narangba.
through.
Narangba.
Yeah, he's
So
gone
Narangba,
from Caboolture over to Narangba, and he's taken a few of the boys there. I
Yeah.
saw what's his name? They've got the Hillier brothers out there. The one who played for Caboolture. He got a hat trick.
Jamie.
Scored 4 yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think they're just destroying Cap 3 at the moment.
Yeah. Narangba goal.
Come up, yeah.
Because they did that with Caboolture. They
They
went
did,
back,
didn't
right?
they?
So, yeah. Well, look, let's... I always say delve. I want a different word than delve.
Dive
Explore.
into.
Explore.
Explore.
Delve, Delve sounded good.
Delve is the best word
He
we're gonna
uses it
come
a
up
lot,
with, but I use it a lot. So,
I like it, that.
yeah.
Yeah, big fan.
Good delve.
We will discuss the career, I suppose, the career path.
Yeah, okay,
Career
maybe
path.
that. Career path, I wouldn't
Yeah.
call it a career. Maybe
No,
just path.
Yeah,
Just go with
the
path.
path. You started playing church league as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, sort of background is my parents came over as refugees in '86. I was born here a few months after they landed. And like you see, the communities out here today that are coming through to Australia and those sorts of programs, football is the way that they feel comfortable, stick together. It's their extracurricular activities, all that sort of thing. I was part of that crew with.
El
And
Salvador,
back then,
right?
it was a lot of Central American countries coming out because of the Civil War.
Yeah.
All of those things taking place. So, and church league was obviously the most financially viable one for us to sort of start up a club, and that's where we played all of our juniors until we got older, and the parents didn't want to volunteer anymore, and the club sort of disappeared.
Yeah.
And the guys who wanted to continue moved up and ended up playing, Souths, all those sorts of bigger clubs down on the south side.
Yeah. So, in the church league and all that, so the community-based football, is there a club that is predominantly El Salvadorian, a club that is predominantly Portuguese at the time? I think Athletic back
That's
in
right.
the day. Do they kind of stick together like that? Is it? Remember, like the old sort of the ethnic clubs back in the day. Does the same thing happen in the?
Yeah, there's one called El Salvador Football Club, and it's opposite Olympic.
Yeah.
So they've got the field opposite Olympic
Yeah.
at the moment. I don't think they're running any senior competitions out of there anymore. They've affiliated themselves with the government called, there's a program called Welcome Sports, which is really cool. So they've badged it with the El Salvador Soccer Club.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is utilising the Welcome Sports to actually get a lot of the guys who are coming as refugees integrated into the community.
Yeah.
So they've got people like Jamie Young out there.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the guys who used to play for El Salvador, my age, sort of in there, helping put structure and get these kids to play sport in a structured way and getting them to integrate with other people who live in the area.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. He does quite a bit, Jamie Young, doesn't he? Like
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And what a fantastic season he is. Just off topic.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable season.
Do you think there was some concern when Theo was hanging up the gloves, but
He's been
For
outstanding.
not
for
just
the
this
last
year. Last 3 years. Every
or
time he's
so.
been asked, I mean, I know he made a couple of errors, like early doors.
He had a tough start to his
But-
career at the Raw, but
Perseverance, Jesus.
Even this season, he was not first choice at the start of the season.
He wasn't actually.
We
He
played
was,
at
yeah.
Raya, and it was the
That's
week
right.
before the season, and the other guy, Crocombe,
yeah,
he started ahead, and I was like,
yeah.
like, Jimmy Young was brilliant last
Player
year.
of the year last year.
But sometimes a new manager comes in and just wants to put their own stamp on things, and like, might say something he's not happy
Yeah.
with. But it only took about 3 or 4 games, and then when Jamie Young came in,
He's a shot stopper, isn't he? Like, he's not. I think how we're talking about on the last episode too, like the curriculum of playing it. He's not that sort of keeper where he's not bad with his feet, but he's not that comfortable.
not an Edison.
No, but you could have
better balls.
who is exactly right. But
Yeah.
there's no one in the A League, and you can easily say it, there's no better shot stopper in the A League than Jamie Young at the
Not a
moment.
chance.
He's a freak.
Yeah. But he does get involved in a lot of the.
He's an academic too.
Yeah, he is.
He's very smart.
Yeah?
He's a very smart
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty handsome as well. Just throw that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it.
Good tan. Good tan.
Yeah.
Big boy. Could be playing for the Bronx, actually.
Well, that's why it's sort of.
Well, he'd probably actually get a game.
Better, yeah.
That's why I like it as a keeper because he looks like he could play in the front row for an NRL team, but he gets around and sticks
How tall
arms
is he?
out.
I've seen him.
He wouldn't be very tall.
Real life, but at a distance.
6'1"-ish.
Oh, yeah, he's not.
What are you? What are you?
I'm
6'3"?
6'1",
Maybe?
6.
Yeah, I reckon he's.
He'd be
Your height, Benny.
5'1".
I'm 5'11".
5'11", right.
5'11", 3/4.
Anyway,
I'm saying he might be a hair taller than you.
he's not a real big dude, but man, like some keeper.
No.
Yeah.
Gets around.
Hey everyone, here today to give a little plug to one of the Subs Bench loyal sponsors, Mr. Mark Cruz from Bank of Queensland, Windsor. Now, Mark is one of the best in the business, and I know this from personal experience as myself, Dusty and Ryan Stenthouse bank our One Short company with Mark. One Short is one of the best clothing labels in the world, and Mark is a big part of that. Mark has a lot of upside. One, he's incredibly good looking, and yes, ladies, he is single. And two, he is very professional and very, very good at what he does. So if you A, want a hot date with Mark, or B, want some great banking advice, please slide into his DMs and get in contact with one of the best bankers in Brisbane today. Cheers.
So from Church League, moved on to Regent's Park, the senior football.
Yeah, Regent's Park Saints. So only the old school people down at Logan would remember that club.
Yeah.
The clubhouse is still there. They've turned it into an NFL club.
Really?
Now, yeah. So they've got an NFL team out at Regent's Park.
Yeah. What are they called?
I couldn't tell you.
Regent's Park Raiders. Could be.
Let's go with it. Let's
Yeah,
go with
yeah.
it.
Up
But
the
yeah,
Raiders.
you can hear them when they start
Yeah.
playing. They draw a bit of a crowd down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an NFL field now, and from there went to Park Ridge.
Yeah.
When they were, I think it was, I don't remember, Cap 1, Cap 2.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Then to Acacia Ridge for a little bit, just to play with some of those boys who I was mentioning.
Yeah.
Community football, we were getting on in age. We ended up going to Acacia Ridge to play together as we got older. Did my knee in a training match, and that was the end of that. That's when I actually met you for the first time.
Is that when it
we
was?
did the radio show. Yeah, that's it. I came in with a brace and all this sort of stuff.
We got to touch upon this.
We do. I was thinking about that.
It was in Woodridge, wasn't it?
It was.
Was it your BPL days?
Yeah, so it was around that time, and I'd retired, kind of. I'd packed in playing for North Star halfway through a year. I just had a toe injury that just, I wasn't able to enjoy my football. I was like finishing training sessions close to tears, like the pain. And I turned around to Royce Brownie, who was the coach, and I just went, Royce, I can't do it anymore. Like, it's killing us. I can't. So I stopped playing. And within a couple of weeks, I'd read something that was on like the old Football Brisbane website. You'd probably seen the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was just an ad like saying, radio show needs people to talk football. And it was all local football. I was like, you know when you look at a job like description and you think, I'm just waiting for the thing that I can't do.
It sounded
Just
too
so I
good
can
to be
live
true,
off.
right?
And everything I was like, talk football, local. I can do that.
Yeah.
So I sent this email off and I said, yeah, I'll do it if you want. And they got in touch and it was called Songs and Goals, right? And it was a radio show on a Saturday afternoon from 3 till 6, I want to say, or 4 till 7. Or 3 till 7, might
Yeah,
be.
it was a good chunk of time.
And it was in Logan, Woodridge. And it was, I can't remember the station.
101 FM.
101 FM. And what it was, right, you had one of their regular DJs called Woody.
I forgot his name. Yeah, there you go.
Woody, right? Like, sort of quite a big fella, old, knew nothing about football.
Yeah.
So he's on one side of the counter, and me, Arvie. Remember Arvie Cohen?
Yeah,
referee?
the referee.
Me, Arvie, and Manny Garcia are on this panel, and I think you came in like after 2 or 3 weeks.
Something like that, yeah.
And what would happen is, if a goal went in at a game, someone at the game would ring us or text us saying Souths are winning 1-0. Then like Woody's song would finish and we'd be like that. And then we saw, we're just going to cross over to Arvie now. And then Arvie would be like, yep, there's a goal gone in at Underwood Park. We've got to cross over now. And then like you'd cross over and you'd hear someone on the phone and be all muffled.
It was a disaster.
Oh,
Honestly, it was a disaster.
The worst thing in the world, but we loved it.
It was. We felt like we were, professionals doing that stuff. I remember one time we we wanted to get bigger and expand, and we advertised for some student journalists, right? Who were studying journalism and stuff. And we got this kid in, I don't remember his name.
George.
George. I didn't want to throw him under the bus.
George.
Well, we got this kid in, and he was meant to be our go live, so we'd send him off to game of the week so we could cross to him live and all this sort of stuff. We didn't test him or anything like that, but we send him out and we give him a call, and we're expecting him to tell us what's going on. And he's sitting there and he's literally answers the phone. He's going, "Yep." No excitement or anything on the boys. He's going, "Yep, I'm here. Yep, there's a kick." And he's kicked it again. The guy in the blues just kicked it. And now the whistle's gone. I'm just looking at it going, fuck.
This is live. This is live. We've even given the build-up because he's texted us and said...
here's my CV. I'm studying all this sort of stuff.
Hadn't there been a goal at Souths?
Yeah.
What Souths? Is it Wakeley Park?
Yeah, Wakeley, yeah.
Right. So we knew that Souths had gone 1-0 up against Rochdale.
Yeah.
Right? So it's come to us and we thought we'd be all like, yep. There's a goal at Wakeley Park, but who's it gone to? George? And then they just crosses over. And George is like, "Hi, this is George. I'm at Wakeley Park." And
We know, George.
Each other.
We know.
Fuck, this is live radio. And the show lasted what? I think it did continue.
It lasted until we decided to sort of, call it
We
quits
turned it
there.
into a EPL chat.
Yeah, we ended up doing that.
We ended up just having like 2 hours worth of talk about like English Premier League.
Yeah, right.
So we went out at
That was a blast, man, yeah.
And then like fucking Harvey, and I hate running down this show because I really enjoyed doing it. But Harvey would be like, we're going to do all the team news. I'm like, all right, sound like you're going to get... He's like, nah, just whatever the team was last week, what had finished. So if someone came off after 75 minutes for Smith, and just say that Smith's starting instead of that person this week, I went, how scientific is that? And he was like, yeah, well, he probably got injured. I was like...
Still smoke and mirrors, mate. Letting out the trade secrets.
Harvey, let's not do the team news, Just go with scores.
The crazy thing was, though, we used to open up the lines for competitions, and people would ring in. So I don't know who was listening, but people would ring in and answer quiz questions and stuff, and we'd give out like jewellery vouchers.
No, it was honestly, it was my mum's cousin. My mum's cousin lived in the area, and I used to tell him what the question and answer was going to be.
Benny.
So he won like 4 in a row.
This is inside trade.
And apparently, I spoke to him at one point, and he was like, the DJ picked up the phone and said, "Not you again." So I said, "You're going to have to leave it for a few weeks then, Dave."
That station's still around. Pass it every time when I'm going to coach. 101 FM still there.
Honestly, it was good crack, but it was really, really unprofessional. Yeah. But then, like Facebook and stuff like that, has kind of took away the need for it. But at the time, you didn't have like update the scores and then people just put the scores on.
Well,
It was that Taringa forum, and that was it.
Yeah.
You look now, you got that Football 24 app, and you can see every league in the world.
You didn't have that.
Nah.
So you'd maybe have Bon Jovi living on a prayer, all right, and then cross to Wolves.
George.
Yeah,
it was great.
George on the ground.
George and Woody.
Maybe there's a spot for it now. There's a bit of a gap now in the market, hey?
Yeah, that'd have to be a pretty small gap for that. Like,
You guys probably won't get the call up.
No, I think we've done our job, mate.
I know that George.
We were the pioneers. We were pioneers. We set the bar, and it's up to somebody else to take it up.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So all right, I digress.
I didn't even really know that was a thing. So
Yeah, it was a thing, and that's because it wasn't publicised.
Yeah.
You know,
It's weird.
it's a shame. I mean, it had legs, but just
And here you are now, mate. That's why you find yourself in front of the mic once again.
addicted to the mic. So you got injured.
Yeah.
Called it a day, and then
Moved into. I've got friends and second cousin who sort of married into the family. Started up Logan Metro.
Yeah.
And we started playing out where Football Brisbane's headquarters are now. So that didn't look the way it did. It was literally next to the dump.
Right.
And we had to mark our fields, and we'd hire a portaloo in case a female came to watch and they needed to go to the toilet. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
So they kicked us out, saying they would redevelop it, and then we'd come back in, and they sent us over to Compton Park out of Woodridge. And then Football Brisbane caught wind of the redevelopment, and Logan Metro got told to stay out at Compton Park, and they, to their credit, they helped us knock down the asbestos-filled building that was there and brought in a little demountable. No, not Football Brisbane, the council.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and they let Football Brisbane sort of move back in. So the name stuck because we played out of Logan Metro Sports Complex.
Yeah.
But the name was there, and decided to sort of go with it. And when we moved out to Compton Park, that's when we made the move into Football Brisbane.
G'day everyone, Tom Carroll here from Total Compression. As you can tell by the stiffness of your nipples, the weather is a little bit chilly outside. If you fancy to get a hold of any of the Total Compression products, please visit www.totalcompression.com.au and use the coupon code TheSubsBench to receive 10% off any Total Compression product. Cheers, guys.
I haven't checked or anything, but do you use that like straight out of Compton kind of? You've got to.
You have to, mate.
Yeah,
Seriously, you have to. Yeah. It's on the podcast,
just
opening the podcast,
yeah.
team song, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the team song?
Oh, mate. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
No, it's good.
You've got to,
that's a start.
you
got to embrace it.
Yeah,
you got to embrace it, mate. If you don't do it, somebody else will make the reference and prefer to just embrace it and take the tone of the conversation, really.
Yeah. So Logan Metro started off like church league.
Yeah, did church league. I think it's about maybe 8 years old now. The club.
Yeah.
This is only its 4th year in Football Brisbane competition.
So 4 years and then
4 years over.
Cap 4.
Cap 4. Yeah, started in Cap 4, mid-table Cap 4, but I think the reason the club started in the first place was just trying to do something good for the community. I mean, like, there's so many clubs out at Logan, a ton of clubs out at Logan.
There's about 5 in the same league at 1 year, wasn't there?
There is, yeah, and there's most of them right now are banked up where we are, Cap 3, Cap 2, and then the next one up is probably Rochedale, if you classify them as Logan. They're right on the border, and then Logan Lightning.
Yeah.
There's nothing else underneath that.
Yeah.
So that was the idea of the club, is to come in and actually embrace the community that we're a part of, not just with the players, but everything that we do, literally trying to do something good for the community, put it on the map for a good reason, and provide an alternative for the big clubs that are out there right now. There's so much talent, especially now with different people from all parts of the world sort of moving into the Logan area.
Yeah.
The raw football talent is insane. Yeah. It's crazy. But it's interesting when you sort of hold trials and you'll see these raw talent walk through the door, but they've never played any structured football in their life.
You're probably, because of the whole community and the way things work, you find someone that you know with a similar background, and you kind of go where they go.
That's it.
So you're probably in a prime spot to just see the best players come in from, say if they've arrived from a different country, and they'll come and trial at you, and you'll be like,
yes, please.
Well, mate, that's
and then a couple of years later, they're playing at a higher level, like the goalkeeper we talked about earlier.
Yeah, we've got a couple of keepers do that now. There's one's at Pine Hills.
One is at Pine Hills,
but he went to Athletic beforehand. We've had a couple of guys play for us who then made the jump to Logan Lightning as well. There's a few who have gone to BPL clubs, so the talent's there. And as good as it would be to sort of have those guys stick with us, we've got to be realistic. You can't begrudge somebody who wants to play at a high level. We'd like to think that if they leave and they're good enough at the high level, we've played some sort of part in helping them sort of get there. And the good thing is too, sometimes the grass isn't always greener, and we see a handful of them start returning as well for things like the culture, where they feel comfortable, all that side of thing.
Let us know next time you have trials pre-season, the first session.
We go
straight down the court. So you were involved in the first year in Cap 4?
I was, yeah.
And then did the coach leave, or?
Mate, legs were going, injury prone after that sort of thing, and I couldn't keep my hamstrings together I couldn't string more than 4 games together. Called it a day and started looking after, we're trying to kick off an under-18s academy. We'd had one. I was there meant for the second iteration of it, but it never took off. So I stuck around as an assistant coach, and the year after, Coach Pat, who'd been there for a few years, moved house down with his missus to the coast, and I put my hand up to take it over because I felt like, being a player, I knew the culture, I knew the boys. You could see the raw talent there. And I just thought to myself, being an average player, I had to rely on things like understanding the game, reading the game, anticipating what's going to happen and get your positioning right. I thought, if I can just give them a little bit of that, mate, they can start doing things. And that was the mentality I went in with, and things just started clicking.
Because we met up.
We did.
I know we spoke with us before. I got a message out of the blue because since the radio show, we'd had a couple of conversations, I think, and he just says, so I'm thinking about getting into coaching. And my thought was, man, you're pretty young for it, like. But we met up and, you know, sort of, I liked what I heard, like the intentions and everything. I just went, give it a crack, mate, like if you need any help and whatnot. And the next thing I knew, they're starting to build a bit of a reputation as being a, you know, team on the up.
Yeah, it's been good.
No, you've done well.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think the big thing for us was, just getting the guys to believe themselves. And it's been magic. You know, when you start at a club like that, you get from the humble beginnings we talked about with the Portaloo to last year where we played. We made it to, I think it was round 5 of the FFA Cup.
Yeah.
We hosted Moreton Bay at Compton Park, and you go, mate, where we've come from, being part of there, being a player when we were out, marking the lines ourselves and all that sort of thing, to all of a sudden be hosting an NPL team.
Yeah.
And we gave a good account of ourselves. We went out 1-0, and huge crowd for us.
Yeah.
Sort of out there. It's just been awesome to be part of that, and actually have a lot of these kids who started with us, you know, all those years ago as well, in under 16s, under 18s, being part of the first team today. Yeah, it's been awesome, right?
What was the score in that game?
1-0.
Yeah, I was going to say it was close. I remember that.
Yeah, it was 1-0, and it was live streamed as well, so it was a bit of pressure to put in a good show for the area and for Cap 3 as well.
Yeah.
I think we did ourselves proud.
Fuck, I'll go to the FFA Cup, man.
I know, that's...
It's the one problem about 2020. But the one footballing problem, like the FFA Cup is so good.
It is, and it gives, as you said, like that's a massive night for your club, especially from where you've come from. Like that's the pinnacle. The promotions and stuff. But at the moment, like drawing an NPL club, if you're in the capital leagues, and hosting them, that's as good as almost like an NPL club pulling an A-League side, sort of, you know what I mean? Like,
it felt that way. It felt that way around the community. There was a buzz, everything.
All the positives.
Also getting live streamed. There probably not many of those guys would have been on a live stream playing
Not
football.
at all.
And you bumped Melgar on the way.
Yeah, we did a couple of teams. So we had to beat a team in divisions above us. We didn't get anyone in our division. I guess when you start Cap 3, most teams are going to be above you, right? But we bumped off Mount Gravatt, and they were at the time favourites or one of the hot favourites for promotion in Cap 1. Then we beat Taringa in BPL. They made it to the finals last year as well. We beat them 3-1 away, and then went down 1-0 to Moreton Bay.
That's a good run for a Cap 3 team.
Cap 3, Cap 3.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, love to see that.
Yeah.
That's been, talking around how tough some of these lower leagues are, and there's decent quality out there. If you look at pre-season results, and I know it's pre-season, right? But mate, there's half of the teams in Cap 2 have played against at least BPL opposition, and they've taken wins off BPL teams that are in the top half of the table this year. So there's not much between the leagues, really. I think going through the run that we went through, the biggest difference I could see is probably conditioning, maybe a little bit sharper, and more of a mentality.
Yeah.
It's a player mentality thing. If you can get your players fit enough, and you can get them to a certain level of structure, there's very small differences.
And I think less mistakes. Sometimes it's just that consistency of decision making.
Yeah.
That's what you find, that the higher up you go, it's just, the opposition will take a chance.
Yeah,
if you give
it's
them,
ruthless. Yeah.
Make a mistake, they could punish you. Whereas the lower teams make a couple and probably get away with it sometimes.
Yeah. It's got to be, I guess, good if you're moving forward trying to get promoted into the higher league, like knowing that when you play against that higher opposition that they can sort of rise to that, and they're not, the higher or the better opposition they play against, the better they might play themselves. That's got confidence for the all guys.
Huge confidence. I think that the challenge, and again, sort of being with the club and growing with it, and growing with the boys going through all of these experiences for the first time, it throws another problem your way, which is the difference between confidence and arrogance. And you can see the steep decline sometimes when you get up mentally for a huge game, and then you jump into your BAU season. You can easily sort of cross the threshold and go, okay, we're going to towel these guys up. We only just lost 1-0 to an NPL side. We're going to go out and kill these guys. Mate, you do that, you're in danger. because all of a sudden you've gone from being the hunter to the hunted, and the other teams are turning up ready to throw everything at you. And that's the beauty of football, mate. At the end of the day, it's 11 versus 11 on the park. Yeah, anything can happen.
Well, you obviously responded well enough because you took out the title. You finished first.
We did.
For a relatively new club in the football Brisbane landscape, like how big was that? The community got behind it?
Yeah, massively. It's been really good. So we've been lucky enough to have, we've got some corporate sponsorship. Yeah. Now we know the challenges in community football, even at the semi-pro level, to sort of get consistent sponsorship dollars there. Yeah. It's even harder when you're based out of where we're based. Yeah. And football isn't the sport of choice. You've got things like Logan Brothers, it's a rugby league sort of powerhouse down our way. And that's where all the dollars go. But yeah, community got behind it, drew big crowds, been able to get a few more sponsors off the back of it, have had some of our long-term sponsors actually continue on because of what we've done. I think it's just being part of the ride. It genuinely excites somebody when you sit down and take the time and understand the story. And we're not the only ones. There's clubs out there trying to do something similar. But when you sit down and understand the story and start to see it come together, it's pretty cool to be a part of, and I think other people want to join in.
Yeah, I think it's partly because there's the ride, but I also think, and I'll give you some credit here. I think when you got probably someone like yourself as at the forefront, as someone who's leading and driving it, if I'm a potential sponsor, like I probably just look at you and think, that's probably the type of guy I want to kind of put my money on. Like, I know that some teams in the lower leagues could go either way. There could be, a lot of trouble, a lot of upheaval and bullshit that goes with it. But I think if you've got someone like yourself, and we'll touch upon like the podcast as well that you have done, there just seems to be just a good vibe about what Logan Metro have done in the last couple of years. Yeah. So I think that probably plays a part as well for you.
Yeah, it does. I think we've talked about it. That's one of the, there's heaps of drawbacks and challenges being a small club, but I think that's one of the benefits. You don't have enough people to get stuck into the political bullshit that goes on at bigger clubs, really, because it's only going to work if everybody's on the same page. Yeah. So that's, I think something that we've, again, sort of embraced. You can sit back and go, poor us for all of these reasons. Yeah. But it makes it a lot easier just to sit down, have difficult conversations, get a decision done, and then push on. Yeah. There's no one there who's afraid to sort of roll up their sleeves, mate. You see the president out there marking lines. We've got guys who don't even play for us who are out there as officials, who travel far just to come watch us play, coach the mini-roos, all that sort of stuff. And the club numbers are growing every single year. So we just got to be careful as we grow. That's been one of our catch cries, is make sure we grow sustainably as well, because we don't want all of a sudden to be a huge base or a huge group out in Logan, but all of a sudden the product that we're offering deteriorates because there's not enough eyeballs and that people to give that genuine care factor for all of the teams, every single person who's paying the rego fees, to make sure they've got use of the facilities, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Wanting to buy business assets or motor vehicles? Do you need experienced business advice in tough times and you're not sure who to trust or talk to? Terry Kirkham, with over 30 years of experience, and his firm Global Business Auctioneers and Valuers with its range of services can help you. Global provides consulting advice on business exit strategies, risk positioning, restructuring and more, business and business asset valuations, and business asset sales through their online auction platform or tender sales. Check Global out at www.globalauctioneers.com and www.globalvaluers.com, or call Terry directly on 1300 557 112 for a chat.
That's fair. Well, we spoke about the podcast briefly. So just give us, because the one I actually took notice of must have been about 2 months ago, maybe. And you did might have been a 2-parter actually, and it was on racism in football. Yeah. Where did the idea for the podcast come, and that particular episode, I'm assuming, drew a lot more viewers than normal?
Yeah, it did. Look, so the idea it came from, at the time we were in lockdown and there was all these sort of rules, but I'd get together with my coaching team and we'd do some exercise at like 5 a.m. out at Regent's Park at the NFL field. So we'd go out there and go for a bit of a run at 5 a.m. And this is after the event had happened over in the States.
Yeah.
Right? What took place.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting there and we were talking about it, and I remember mentioning to him that I actually lost sleep the night before, going, how the fuck is this shit still going on at this day and age? And we had a chat, and again, one of the benefits of a small club, one of the guys who I train with runs the club, created the club, Sam Escobar. And we said, look, we've got an opportunity. We've got that podcast, we've got a platform.
Yeah.
We don't know what the answer is, but maybe what we can do is just talk about it. If that's what's within our control right now, let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea was sort of born.
Yeah. And so the guest that you had on, is he one of your players?
Boutros Hayter? No, he's not one of our players actually. I'm pretty sure at the moment he plays for St George.
Yep.
But he works for Football Queensland as well in one of their community roles.
Yeah.
So he's, with the contingent of players in the community that a lot of these boys come from, he's been at our club before. We've hosted his community team, all that sort of stuff. So we've got an affiliation with him.
Yeah.
And I just came across him posting something, sharing his views on the idea, and we thought, hey, let's get this guy on for a conversation. And it can make a lot of people nervous, talking about racism.
Makes us
I know
nervous.
we're touching about it beforehand.
We brought up the idea. I think Melgar brought up the idea, and we kind of said, like around about the same time. I said, look, we should probably do an episode on racism in football, because it would have kind of tied in at the right time. But we needed the right guest to make it work, and we couldn't get the right guest. We had one or two who were going to come on, and then for whatever reason they couldn't come on. And we didn't just want to get anyone on and just talk about it. So we wanted to do it justice. I think that's the key word. It had to be done properly.
Especially coming from like three guys that would never have experienced something of that level, and like you just don't know what it feels like until it's happened to you. And none of us would have experienced it.
That's what I was saying. We probably weren't well educated enough on it to be able to give it,
not
to do it justice, as you say.
Yeah, if we're going to put out an episode once every 2 or 3 weeks, then we don't want to put something out that is a half-baked, half-assed version of a very serious
You don't want to be ignorant about it either. Like you see, I think a good example of it is actually in the NFL, Drew Brees, how he came out and said some things. I don't know word for word what he said, but we've probably all seen it.
It backfired.
It backfired. But
he had his own teammates and everything.
But then I watched a thing of which was a rebuttal from one of his black teammates, with basically breaking down all these points. It was on YouTube. It was just like something that he put on Instagram or whatever. And I watched it and I was sat there thinking, I was like, it helped me understand, I haven't been involved in anything and didn't really have a say on it or anything, but just watching that and seeing it from his point of view and what he's been through and what his family's been through, it made me sit back and go, that's...
Yeah, so we kind of decided, look, let people who are more qualified to speak about it speak about it, and I'm glad we did, because we could have set ourselves up for a massive backlash. Basically, just by being naive to a situation. I mean, I said this at the time, when we have guests on, and even when we're talking here, I predominantly take on the role of being like the let's play devil's advocate. I can't really play devil's advocate with a subject like that, because it exists. It's a real thing. It wasn't something that we felt comfortable doing. So I'm glad that you did it and did it so well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Look, I think we mentioned it beforehand. It wasn't easy. I was extremely nervous about it as well. But we took the angle of just education. So we went down the path of story one being Boutros and just real life experiences and what does that actually look like. And then the second part was we got a researcher from UQ to come on, and give us the textbook definition of what racism looks like, what does systemic racism look like in Australia, and how do you beat it, right? So yeah, it was a really interesting conversation. I think the most, our goal was not to make everybody feel like it's a winless battle, right? Because you can easily just get stuck into the negative stuff and you go, well, shit, what's the point of trying to do anything? I felt really sort of uplifted after talking to the professor when she mentioned that based on research, it is getting better, and what we can do to make sure that these issues are stamped out are things that are all within our control. So she's saying, there's so many people coming over here from different countries right now. When's the last time you proactively went and spoke to somebody that you didn't know, that you could clearly see was new to the area, new to the club? Sports plays such a huge part in integrating people into communities as well. So we've got an opportunity, being part of football clubs that we are, to actually make people feel welcome. But it's a challenging topic, man. Really challenging, and it's all in perception too. You can say something, and if it's perceived differently, puts you in a position where you, maybe unintentionally you landed, whether or not that was your intention originally.
I mean, we've spoke about it now for the last 5 minutes. What's the best way for people to watch that particular episode, the two-parter?
Yeah, so we've got our own podcast. If you jump on, what's the app called? Where you
With Spotify?
No, the SoundCloud.
Oh, SoundCloud.
Yeah, if you jump on SoundCloud, look up Logan Metro.
Yeah.
We've got all of the podcasts that we've done off the back of that, so both of those are on there.
Yeah, and I will say, worth listening to.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
This season, just to finish off, are we travelling?
Rough start, to be honest with you. Bit of a weird one. So I think, I'm not sure, up in the MPL, QPL, there's no relegation this year, is there?
There's one.
Oh, there is one?
QPL,
There is relegation in ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the only difference.
That's the only difference.
Got promotion but no relegation.
That's right.
Yeah.
So in the BPL Capital Leagues, it's just a one-up.
Yeah.
Nobody going down. So you pretty much had to be...
It's going to be a traffic jam in a few years, yeah.
Had to be perfect this year to sort of get there, right? It's a challenge.
You know what the problem is there? The NPL this year is so competitive because teams want to win the league, make finals, but there's 4 or 5 teams scrapping to avoid that bottom spot.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get halfway through BPL, Cup 1, Cup 2, Cup 3, and about 7 teams don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going down.
It's a challenging one. Look, to Football Brisbane's credit, they've done, in really tough circumstances, a ton of sort of connecting and what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of customer engagement, right? So they reached out to all of the clubs and they hosted virtual meetings going, hey, look, here's a proposal. What do you guys think? There was a ton of feedback that went through.
We saw
one of the proposals was no promotion, no relegation.
Just play 17 friendlies.
And as a player, as a player, as a coach, all this sort of stuff. Once you've played the game, you go, what's the point? But then people counter argue going, well, if you really love football, you just want to play. And go, I don't know if that's the case at this level. You want to play for something.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if finals are off the table, all that sort of stuff. So
I think they probably have found a happy medium.
They have.
Because one or two clubs who have been massively affected financially through COVID, through no fault of their own, would probably be in no position to put up any kind of fight and they'd go down. So I'll concede that they've probably, if teams want to go up and compete, at least one of them gets the opportunity. Yeah, we were big advocates of that. We're not in that spot where we want to be, but whoever gets up there deserves it, really, at the end of the day. Yeah, so whereabouts are you at the moment? After about, 6 games? 6 games. I think we're sitting 4th. Yeah. 4th or 5th. We've won 3. Finals or not? No finals. Nothing. So
I would have put finals in
finals as well.
Because,
put finals as well.
Anyway.
It's just the one. It's a sprint to the finish. And after everybody's played each other once, so I think all teams have 12 teams in the BPL sort of divisions. Once every team's played each other once, the ladder gets split into 2. Yep. So you've got your top 6, bottom 6, and the last 5 rounds, the top 6 play off against each other, the bottom 6 play off against each other. Yeah.
See, that seems weird too for promotion.
I reckon they're not playoffs, the points still count.
They're
just tallying points against each
other. You only play your top 6. So if you're going to win the league, you've got to play the 6 best teams in the comp.
That's it.
Yeah, but I say this slightly different. If you've played 11 games, that's when it splits.
Yes, that's it. After
So
everybody's
if you're
played each other
top,
once.
then you've got a great chance of winning it because
You do. There's not many points left to play for.
teams second, third, fourth, fifth,
All
all
playing
playing
each
each other to play.
That's true.
They're all spilling.
Yeah.
So you only have to win 2 of the last 5,
Yeah.
and you're probably home and dry.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you missed out on that top 6 by like goal difference or something. Then.
Yeah. I think, but you've got a couple of teams. So Ripley, they've 100% record so far.
Really?
Yep.
So
And
them Pine Hills will be.
and Pine Hills 100%
Because
record.
Pine Hills drew one before COVID.
Yeah, and
They
got
did.
it
They
deleted.
did.
They won
and
it
then they
yesterday.
refreshed it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That happens, I suppose. So
It does. Yeah, so we're still in there. You know, we'll give it a crack. Plenty of points to play for, but yeah, the further the season goes along, the more difficult it is when it's out of your hands. You're sort of relying on others' results,
Yeah.
especially a short season like this, 16 games. You've got to be
sprint.
perfect.
yeah, it is a sprint. Got to go straight from the off.
Curious to see. I don't know if COVID preparations, doing a lot of reflection around what's worked, what hasn't, and seeing a lot of injuries, all this sort of stuff. Even in the pro leagues, EPL, you saw when they came back, there was a ton of
I don't think
injuries.
there's much you can do. Like, but one of our lads put in the players have all got like the group chat or whatever. Like they've in the last 8 days, like you're talking like 36, 37 Ks,
Yeah.
and that's not including training. That's just games.
Yeah, wow.
And then obviously probably some 3 or 4 training. Like, and
overload,
if
eh?
you've built up to that, fair enough.
That's it.
But there's not a build up to this.
No.
It's come from nowhere.
It has come from nowhere, especially because when we came back, there was still the restrictions. So you sort of had to do your non-whatever.
Is it sort of limited training,
and then,
yeah.
And then it was just like, bang, you're off. And yeah.
Yeah, we actually played you. We kind of hastily arranged a game.
That's right.
We actually got an extra game in that most teams wouldn't have
Because it was
the day after.
day
the
after.
day after. Yeah,
We
it
kinda
just happened to
planned
be,
for that, yeah.
if just in case.
So, but yeah, we've picked up. I mean, we're running on fumes at the minute, but hopefully we get a week's break now. But yeah, lads are struggling. Like, we put a team out yesterday. 3 of them, under normal circumstances, wouldn't have started.
Yeah.
But we had no choice, really. But
It's tough one, right? Again, you go, so everybody's in the same sort of spot. So you get a bit of luck
look,
go your way. as
Everyone
well.
had midweek games in the MPL this week. It was Saturday, midweek Saturday or whatever. So like the team we played had an extra 24 hours rest. It's not a big deal, but it makes a difference. Like,
Yeah, it really
24
does.
hours.
Especially when, like, you're not professional, so you're getting up. If you play a midweek game, you're getting up in the morning, you're going to work.
And they're not fueling. Look, you're not fueling yourself properly through the day.
Speak for yourself, man. no, you're not.
You
You're
know,
not.
some of the lads that were tradies and that might come to lunchtime. I haven't got me packed lunch or Origin kebabs. You know what I mean? Macca's, KFC, anything just to get something down. So it's tough. I mean, you try to be as professional as you can. I mean, I don't.
Pilates room and
Yeah, we're in the
This, that, and
Pilates
the other.
studio at the moment.
Yeah, this is the
Ah,
Pilates.
yeah, okay.
Get the Pilates near
Good.
with a video
Give me
session.
hypothermia with this
But
thing.
oh, yeah, you know what? I put on the aircon when we first got in, and
Yeah,
I
I can
puffed it up.
Yeah.
So,
I am freezing.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
yeah, well, we're nearly done. So, but yeah, it's there'll be a lot of injuries around the leagues.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a case of patching.
And
up
then
the team
and then
as
you've
best
got
you can.
the short turnaround in pre-season.
Yeah.
Again, before the league goes again. So all these things you've got to start thinking about
See,
now and start preparing for it.
that
and
for
what
me,
you're doing.
I think that's probably going to be the worst of it all, and I haven't even given it a second thought at this point. Then it's going to hit me like, where did this come from? So
Yeah, I think
a couple of
wonder
weeks
how
break.
this-
Yeah.
do something. I don't know if you I don't know, maybe it's a risky take. Either do the same thing you normally do, or does something have to give when you approach it differently? Just
It
because
depends
know,
when
I
they
mean-
announce the season start. I'd imagine it might be a month later,
March or something.
and might have a couple of midweek rounds through the season just to get through
Hopefully,
it. But
I wouldn't mind that being the
That
norm,
would
to
be-
be honest.
You got they like
You've
in
got
the
to have a
normal-
bit of time for an end of season trip. Come on.
But in a normal season, they schedule so many they do
Yeah, they
schedule
do.
in the catch up round weekends. So like you could push it back a month, couldn't you?
Just have 3 or 4 midweek rounds.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Maybe put the midweek round. So if you've got a midweek, a free weekend, put the
Play
midweek
midweek.
round on the Wednesday before
Yeah,
that.
so you get an
So
extra.
that you've got the rest as well.
Yeah.
Should be making the decisions,
Yeah.
eh?
We'll put you and Jonty.
Yeah.
You and
One go.
Jonty to
Yeah.
Football
We work
Queensland.
exactly, man.
If you need any help, Rafe, I'm here. But yeah, that's suppose, one way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be one weekend at the end of the season where every team is down Byron Bay.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get anything in Byron Bay for one weekend, which is the one weekend in between.
Christmas.
Season finished, you're starting pre-season.
Yeah,
Have a blow, lads.
Yeah, Christmas.
Well, they
So
just
you're
cancelled
down cheeky
schoolies, mate.
monkeys.
They cancelled
Yeah.
schoolies, so there
Oh,
you
did
go.
they?
There'll be accommodation available throughout that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right, well, been a good chat, that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But no, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Has been an enjoyable chat, that.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I think just for me as well, keep doing what you're doing. You know, as a football fan first, you know, we don't get to play professionally and rub shoulders with those sorts of guys. So doing what you guys are doing for, you know, the sort of local football scene is awesome. I think it all starts from sort of grassroots. You talked about the professionalism sort of increasing at grassroots, mate. This is part and parcel of it. It helps push different clubs to another level, find another gear, and you know, the more all of us are doing it, the better the sport's going to be in the long run. So yeah, good job.
appreciate that. Hopefully we're a slightly more professional and more polished version than Songs and Goals ever was.
That was our apprenticeship, mate. That was our apprenticeship, that's for sure.
Dog shit. All right, well, we'll be back probably in a few weeks' time with another episode, another guest,
Yep.
and hopefully more football to talk about.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.